Hello children, how are you? It's nice to see you again. I hope you're keeping well and you're staying safe. This week's story I've borrowed from some little friends of mine, so thank you very much. I hope you enjoy it. This week's story is about a great big creature, about a great big bear, as his name is Douglas, and the story is called Hugless Douglas by David Mellin. Now what we need to remember is that bears often sleep throughout the winter. We call it hibernate. And they sleep all the way through the cold months when it's really chilly. And then when it comes to spring and it warms up, they wake up again. And that's where our story begins. Let's see what happens to Douglas. One spring morning, a big yawn came from the back of a deep, dark cave. Oh! It was a young brown bear called Douglas. Hello, Douglas. I need a hug, said Douglas. So he wriggled out of his pyjamas, he brushed his hair, and he put on a scarf and went out to look for one. My best hugs are big, thought Douglas. So he went up to the biggest thing that he could find, wrapped his arms all the way around it and gave it a squeeze. It didn't feel quite right. Oh, grunted Douglas, it's a bit too heavy. My best hugs are tall, thought Douglas. So he went up to the tallest thing he could find. He hugged the bottom, he hugged around the middle, and he hugged as high as he could reach. Ouch! But it was all wrong, and it had splinters. My best hugs are comfy, thought Douglas, and he trotted over to a cosy looking bush. He cuddled the bush, but something felt very odd. The leaves quivered and trembled. And ran away. Look, kiss your legs and the eyes. Give us a hug, cried Douglas. No, barred the sheep. We're too busy. He scooped up the armfuls anyway, and he tried to cuddle them gently, but they kicked and they squirmed. They didn't like it at all. Poor Douglas. Why can't I find a hug? If I want a hug, said a wise owl, I sit in my tree and... Let me try, whooped Douglas, and he scrambled up next to the owl. But he soon found himself in a clumsy muddle. Tweet, said the owl crossly. Does look rather cross. I only wanted a hug, sniffed Douglas. Perhaps there's one down here. He felt something long-eared and rabbity. He gave it a tug. Douglas could tell the rabbit didn't want a hug. He sniffed again, and without thinking, he wiped his nose on the fluffy end. Excuse me, shouted the rabbit. Put me down. But I need a hug, said Douglas, and I can't find one anywhere. Oh, I see, said the rabbit kindly. Come with me. Oh, there they go. She took Douglas by the paw and led him round and about. At last they came to a deep, dark cave where a sleepy someone was just waking up. Yawn. Douglas peeped inside. He had the funniest feeling that he knew the someone very well. Hug? Asked Douglas as he ran as fast as he could towards his mum. Come to think of it, my best hugs are from someone I love, said Douglas, and he snuggled in to the biggest, warmest arms he knew. He looks very cosy, doesn't he? I think that hug feels just right, don't you? You can get all types of different hugs. You see all these pictures. You can get a sandwich hug, a good night hug, upside down hug, back to front hug, daisy chain hug, big hugs, shy hugs, tummy hugs, all sorts of different hugs. I like that story. I bet there's people all around you ready to give you a hug whenever you need it. That's nice, isn't it? And you know, there's probably people around that you'd quite like to give a hug to that maybe you can't at the moment. I've been thinking of people that I'd quite like to give a hug to. Actually, the list is getting quite long. What could we do instead? We can send them all our love and know that when we do get to give them a big hug, it will feel just right, just like we did in the Hugless Douglas story. But in the meantime, I thought I would send a card or a little note to somebody I'd like to give a hug to. And I'm going to send this little card. Didn't that look makes you think of hugs? It did when I saw it. It doesn't matter what you do. I'm going to send this one to somebody I know. Maybe you could send something, maybe a card or a letter or a picture, and you could tell them how much you love them and how much you're looking forward to a lovely big hug. It will be good. Everything will be all right in the end. If you're thinking of your children, take care and stay safe. Bye.